I would suggest is contact the FTC. They have a website. You can fill out a complaint online. We can be empowered with your family, your friends, and other people within your community to try to put a stop or at least protect ourselves from these kinds of scams.
Wow, you better watch that. Booker's on Norton presenting a look at the weather forecast. We leave you today. Going to be hot with a high in the low 90s today. Low tonight near 72. Hot all the way through next week with no rain in sight. 75 now. I'm Jimmy Dale. Thanks for watching Daybreak Live. Don't forget Booker's for breakfast this morning until 9 a.m. See you on Monday. Till then, God bless you. God bless America. Stay safe, everyone.
Good morning and rise and shine. It's August 9th, 7:30 in the morning. Joining us today on Rise and Shine is Bill Miller, the founder of Miller Estate and Elder Law. With years of experience in elder law, estate planning, and asset protection, Bill has dedicated his career to helping families secure their future and navigating the complexities of aging and healthcare. His firm is known for providing compassionate and expert guidance in planning for long-term care and protecting loved ones' assets. We are excited to learn more about his approach and the crucial services his team provides. So welcome, Bill. How are you?
I'm doing well this morning. Thank you for having me.
Good. And Ellen, welcome. Hello. Happy Friday, everyone.
School started.
School started.
I forgot all about all the buses.
Oh, yeah. So leave room. Ellen is a good reminder of that. Leave yourself time.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it's happening. It's back. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, so start leaving, what, 10 minutes earlier at least?
Yeah,
at least.
behind all the buses in my neighborhood.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And you can't go around to them. You just have to practice patience. You have to practice patience. That is very important. So, well, wonderful. So, Ellen, you have invited Bill to be our guest this morning.
I've known him for a little bit.
For a little bit of time. I hear you go way back.
Yeah, I went to high school with Kelly, his lovely wife, and then I've known Billy since he was in high school. So we didn't go to the same high school, but I knew you when you were in high school.
It's been a minute.
There might be some stories we could
It was
hear.
yesterday.
Yeah, a lot longer for me than for her.
So you've known each other for a long time. You've also been able to work together in some capacity as well, because both of the things that you do kind of cross paths and align, and so you're both there to assist people in making sure that their future is secure and they have the resources that they need to do so.
I think we tried, don't we?
Yeah, well, that's all you can do. Yeah, as long as someone's trying.
I refer a lot of people to Bill. I mean, he does good work, so yeah.
I appreciate that. As do you.
Thank you.
It takes a village, as they say.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It really does. And so we appreciate that, knowing that our community has those resources and the support that they need. Because planning for the future is not something that everybody always wants to necessarily do, talking about, it's hard. It's hard to talk about end of life and what you're going to do once you're not here any longer, and to think about that. So how do you put your clients at ease when it comes to talking about end of life?
Well, that can be difficult. I mean, when we do an estate plan, there's several different documents that we do, all of which have to do mostly with end of life. But there's the Advanced Directive for Healthcare, which is the document where people have to put their wishes in writing about, what they want to be on a feeding tube. So that can be probably is the hardest one to talk about. But we try to educate people, so we do workshops where people can come for free and learn about all this, so they're not coming to a lawyer's office from the very beginning, and because a lot of them are intimidated to come in. So if they're educated and they kind of understand this stuff up front, then when they come in, it makes it easier. We just take what we taught them at the workshop and then apply it to their situation. So It works pretty well.
Yeah, it can be a very intimidating process. Just talking about that, number one, and then also you're in an attorney's office, it can be intimidating. So that's great to have those workshops. How often do you have those?
So we do about 2 or 3 of them a month. I do one almost every month at the Oxford Civic Center, and then we do them in Hoover and do them in Trussville and Pell City, Jacksonville. So 2 or 3 a month.
So you have a broad area of coverage
I do,
then.
yes.
Okay, and so does Ellen with 10 counties.
Yes.
Yes, and so with Alabama Cares, there is the Community Health Series that happens monthly, and it's an incredible time for people to come out for free and get to learn things, get education. And so you, Bill, are going to be the guest this month of August. I believe it's the 20th. There it is.
Yes.
Yeah, August
Is that right?
20th.
That's you.
That's
me.
you.
Yeah.
I was on the same flyer as James Spann the other day.
How
which I was
cool is
impressed.
that?
Yeah, because we're having him in November, so yeah.
Like, look, check it out. He is a celebrity, isn't he? And so are you, Bill. And so elder law. So you're going to be speaking at the Community Health Series on August 20th. Again, that's at Oxford Civic Center. So what all should people expect when they come to the Community Health Series?
So we'll just talk a little bit about kind of in general the planning documents they need and the need to do it. The hardest part of doing all this is getting people to understand they need to do it ahead of time.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to them about the need to do that, and then the different documents they need kind of in general. And we talk a lot about caregiving, and we see a lot of dementia now, so we'll address that as well. What people need to do if they have a dementia diagnosis. Dementia is kind of is really a journey, and people sometimes don't understand that. It's from day to day, it's not a whole lot different, but from month to month, you see a lot of differences in people.
Oh, yes.
And so we
a
have
lot of people are in denial.
And so we'll talk to them about that and the things they need to do because the problem is once people get too far along in that dementia journey, then they're not able to sign documents. They don't have legal capacity to sign powers of attorney and the things that they need. And if they don't do that, then the family's got to go to court, which is a whole lot more involved, more expensive, more difficult.
Don't they have to, because we always tell our clients, because by the time we get clients on the caregivers program, they should have came to us like 5 years ago because they're so stressed out. Because, I mean, nobody can take care of my mom like I can take care of my, you know what I mean? And they don't want to take care of themselves because they're so enthralled in the whole caregiving thing. And so when somebody does have that dementia diagnosis, that's one of the first things I tell caregivers all the time. It's like, if before they get that diagnosis, you better make sure you go to an attorney. That's your first step, because people don't realize that. And because when someone does have that dementia diagnosis, don't they have to also hire that person a different lawyer?
Well, so it depends. So the diagnosis
There's a conflict.
So you can still sign documents even if you have a diagnosis. It's really whether you're still mentally competent to do it. And so sometimes there are conflicts of interest if somebody's already got dementia and you have a family member who's coming in to get them to try to sign documents, and so the planning that we do is always about the dementia patient, and we have to tell the families that we represent them, and if they're not able to sign legal documents and stuff, then sometimes we can't do anything. We have to send them or have them apply for guardianship or conservatorship.
Right.
How do you determine that if somebody has a dementia diagnosis but is still mentally competent to sign these documents?
You can kind of generally tell. I mean, we ask them about, there's a legal sort of standard, but we ask them about their family, who are their children, how many children do they have, what are their names, who's the president, which probably kicks off more controversy and probably need to take that question out. But anyway, just, what is the shape of a clock? What is this? Give them a pen, tell us what this is for. And we can kind of tell pretty quickly whether they're competent or not to sign documents.
Sure.
And a lot of times if it's iffy, then I'll have them tell the family, I need a letter from their doctor saying that they're competent to sign documents. And if we have that, then we're good to go. And
then it can't be in the future somebody come back and say, okay, I didn't get this because they weren't competent. This is really what they told me. And they could dispute it more easily if there wasn't that letter, I would imagine.
Yes, that's right.
And sometimes, I'm sorry. Sometimes too, I mean, just because we do classes and everything. One of the things that we always tell folks too, especially our first responders when we teach them, is that, you know, when you talk to somebody, sometimes when somebody has dementia, they're okay 1 minute, but then you can ask them the same questions 5 minutes later and they have no clue what you're talking about. So I'm sure that that letter comes in handy if you have a letter.
It does come in handy.
When it's questionable, you know. So
yeah, I've had people that I've met with in the morning, and they were, you know, able to tell me all the stuff, and they're confident. I go have them sign in the afternoon, and they act
forgot.
like they've never met me before, and it's kind of, dementia's a very sad disease.
It's a very sad disease. You're dealing with the shell.
Do you go through the dementia-friendly training as well with Ellen? Have you?
I have been through it, not with Ellen, but I have been through it. There's another lady who's in Piedmont named Francie Owens, and she's a dementia expert, but I haven't been through Ellen's yet.
Oh, you got to.
I need to go do it.
Yeah, I'm going to challenge you to do that, Bill.
It's not easy.
No, I'm sure. She doesn't make it easy either, but she makes it very informative, and when you know, walk out of there, you're going to gain even more information. Even though you deal with it on a daily basis, there's always something to learn, isn't
gosh,
there?
yes.
Yeah, I learn something every day myself.
Yeah.
And you really do have when you go through it, you have a new perspective, because you just see how, because people just don't really understand that the brain is dying, and when you go through the training, makes it easier to understand from their perspective. They just don't see things the way that we do.
And we don't sugarcoat it either when we're training either, you know.
You know, I'm anxious to go through it. Just let me know and we can do it.
Yeah, you do that. Then you can have the dementia-friendly training decal on your office.
Yeah,
right?
we have the business training that's coming up on September 16th. So yeah,
that looks great. Yeah, she was telling us about how she'll put goggles on you and gloves, and you're going to have to separate your Tic Tacs that are, representing the pills. Yeah, I want to see that.
It's not easy at all, and people don't realize that. And I can only imagine signing documents like what you see. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's intimidating anyway. And then when they're in that state of mind, they're really intimidated. A lot of them are wondering whether their kids are here to take advantage of them, and who's this guy in a suit jacket that I've never met, and so it's difficult for them. But I've been through it twice actually, because we went to all the attorneys at my office are dementia certified practitioners, so we had to go through the training. I did terrible.
You did terrible?
Oh, I mean, like you said, you have these goggles, you can't really see.
You can't hear. Did they put the thing?
Can't hear anything? Like, can you tell me
again? Do they tape their
again?
fingers together and all that good stuff? Yeah.
Well, you get a new perspective, and then you really get to put yourself in the shoes. You get to be more empathetic to your clients in that way.
Yes.
Oh, that's got to be tough though too, because then you when you take out the feels, it's probably a little easier to do your job, and then you add all that. I know what you're going through, and you still have to maintain your your attorney persona, of course, but then you also have that emotion that sets in. How do you balance that?
Well, I just enjoy what I do. I mean, so I enjoy helping families. I did a lot of other stuff for years, and about 12, 13 years ago, I started just focusing on this, because I'm just pretty passionate about helping families. I had a lot of them coming in my office back in those days, and I just didn't have any solutions for them, and so I kind of went back I've traveled all over the country to learn about these things, and I just have kind of a passion for helping families that have it. My grandfather had dementia, and I watched how it affected my family. It was actually my first year of law school, which again was a while ago. But so when you see it in your own family, and then I just kept getting so many families in my office, and I'd just say, I don't know what to tell you. And so now that we're able to help them, and it's rewarding.
You do know what to tell them.
I do know what to tell them.
Right.
Because you've been there.
Yes. I have more questions, and I know Ellen does too. So we're going to have to take a quick break right now. Go hear a word from our fabulous sponsors. We will be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor Difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery in Oxford is the area's leading auto body shop, serving Anniston, Oxford, Talladega, and surrounding areas since 1996. They specialize in auto body repair and refinishing, paint correction, paintless dent repair, towing, and so much more. For all of your auto body needs, contact Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery at 256-835-1170. Also online at HughesPaintandBody.com.
I'm Alan Parnell with Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Bentley Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
I'm Lacey Klontz with your TV24 News Update. Don't miss out on Second Friday on Main in historic downtown Oxford this evening from 4 to 8 p.m. at the beautiful Simmons Park, located at 400 Main Street. Per Main Street Oxford's Facebook page, there's going to be delicious food trucks, unique local art vendors, great downtown shopping, dining, and kids' activities that include a bounce house, lawn games, and sidewalk chalk. There will be live music by Barrett Haynes in the Gazebo, the Chakalaka Cruise In, which is hosted by Hartwell Masonic Lodge number 101, and there will also be free caricature drawings by Lash LaRue from 5:30 to 7:30. Second Friday on Main will be an amazing event that will be fun for the whole family. The Anniston Museum and Garden are hosting a 2-night escape room event next month. Per their website, during a tour of Farley and Jermaine Berman's home and artifact collection, you got a little too sneaky. You've snuck into Mr. Berman's office, set off a booby trap, and the door has locked behind you. Luckily for you, the Bermans have hidden a spare key somewhere in the room. Unluckily for you, they were world-class spies. Embark on a thrilling adventure, solve puzzles, crack ciphers, and uncover surprises to find the key and make your daring escape before you're discovered and labeled a thief. Each session is $60 per group of 2 to 6 participants, ages 10 and older. Children ages 10 to 16 must be accompanied by a participating adult. AM&G members receive a $5 group discount. Pre-registration is required. Admission to the Berman Museum exhibit galleries is not included. The date and times are Friday, September 13th at 5 and 6:30 p.m. Then on Saturday, the 14th, you can choose from 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 2:30 p.m., and 4 p.m. You may purchase tickets at the Anniston Museums and Gardens website. For WEAC TV24, I'm Lacey Klontz.
Rise and shine and welcome back. We've got even more great content ahead. Bill Miller is still with us to dive deeper into the critical aspects of estate planning and elder law. We are also joined by Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares, who is here Friday mornings to share essential information on the support and resources available for caregivers in our area. So welcome back. Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
Friday.
Yay, Friday. We'll do a little happy Friday dance.
Yeah,
Bill, we got a
always
happy
do.
Friday
Happy
dance.
Friday.
Friday. Woo-hoo. There we go. I hope you're doing your Friday dance at home too. So when we went to break, you talked about during your first year of law school, you had a family experience with dementia. Did that help lead into your studies of elder law?
Yeah, so for the first, 20 years, maybe 18 years of my practice, I did other stuff, and as I said, I kept just getting people in my office that had issues with family members who, either diagnosed with dementia or had strokes and didn't have the documents they needed and stuff. But always in the back of my mind, I remember back to the situation with my grandfather, he was a truck driver. He worked on a farm from the time he was about 9 years old, and then when he was old enough to get his CDL, he drove a truck, and he was in an assisted living facility, and there was a fire, and he didn't pass in the fire, although some of the people did, unfortunately. But he was burned and had smoke inhalation, and went and lived in had to stay in the intensive care unit for months. And he eventually had to go to a nursing home and died, and basically died broke because he had to pay everything he ever worked for to pay for his care. So that was always in the back of my mind, and I thought there's got to be a way to help these families, and so I just figured out how to do it.
That's wonderful that you dedicated your career to helping people.
Yeah, well, thank you.
We appreciate that. We need more people who would do that, and there are, and so thank you for that. So you've sent in some information for us to look at. I think there was a pamphlet or a brochure that might explain a little bit more, so let's take a minute and check that out. I say so. It's happening. The pamphlet, the brochure, is that something that we wanted to go over? Okay, well, while we're having a look, there it is. Okay, so this is the dementia care journey. Tell us a little bit about this, Bill.
Yeah, so it's a little hard to read, but this is kind of like the dementia care journey really is different for everyone. So these are just kind of different phases that people may go through, because again, dementia is not something, it's not like having a stroke or a heart attack where today I'm fine and tomorrow now I'm in the hospital. And dementia is just a very gradual process. And there's, I think, over 100 different types of dementia.
Yes.
But the families go through, this is what they have to go through. They'll start noticing that someone's got some short-term memory loss, and a lot of times the children are still working, and so they got to take off work, take mom or dad to the doctor. Sometimes the doctor says, well, this is just a natural part of aging. I mean, I can tell you that.
And it's not. It is not. That is a myth. It is not a natural part of aging.
But you hear that a lot.
You hear that a lot, yes.
Oh.
And so they'll take off work. Sometimes they'll give them medications, and it can get worse. They may find them wandering, and so as you get further down the dementia journey, then there's just different things that the family may have to do in order to take care of their dementia patient, and sometimes it just involves 24/7 care. I mean,
it does. And by the time somebody, like we said earlier, by the time somebody realizes, like a family member realizes that person has dementia, that person's probably already had dementia for 2 to 3 years, and they overcompensate because when they're at stage 0, stage 1, where they still have lots of lucid moments, they still can drive, they still can function, some of them still work. And they may do things like, oh, I forgot to pay my bill for my power bill 2 months in a row. Oh, it just, I was so busy, and they just, overcompensate. And I'm not saying, I mean, sometimes we all forget things like that. I'm not saying that, but just things where if you start noticing things that they normally don't do, or they're saying inappropriate things like every once in a blue moon, and you're like, what? Where did that come from? So a lot of times, we always say that somebody who has diagnosed with dementia of any type usually has had it for at least 2 to 3 years before the family even knows.
So kind of look for those like out of character moments.
Yes,
maybe?
yeah. And the whole thing that drives me crazy when somebody says it's a normal part of aging, because it's not. Dementia, I mean, memory loss like that, because your brain is dying. We were talking about that earlier. I mean, that's not normal.
Not everyone is going to experience that as we get older. Yeah, so as we get older, not everyone is going to experience that, but a very big bulk of our population does, right?
There's a diagnosis of dementia every 63 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and so from our perspective, what we're trying to do is just get people to put the legal documents in place so that someone they love and trust has the authority to make decisions for them when they get to the point where they can't. Because the main reason people don't do the planning is they don't want to give up control.
Yeah.
Mom doesn't want her daughter to know how much is in her accounts.
Sure.
And
independence.
Yeah, and especially a lot of times it's men of that generation just don't want to give up control.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Maybe from every generation. That one can be difficult.
That's not super surprising. So you talk about the importance of family considering the planning early. How early do you suggest?
Well, everyone should have an estate plan. I mean, there's 3 things everyone should have, which is a financial or durable financial power of attorney, which is the authority for someone to make financial and legal decisions for you if you can't do it. So sell property, access IRA account, even spouses, because IRAs have to be owned by individuals, and if you've got a spouse who's got $300,000 in an IRA and he gets sick and you need to access that account to care for him, just because you're married to him doesn't give you the right. IRAs have to be owned by individuals. And so even spouses should have a financial power of attorney. So financial power of attorney is number one, and then you should also have an advance directive for health care. So that's two parts. The first part is a living will, where you say whether you would or would not want, like, to be on a feeding tube and respirator and things if you're terminally ill or injured. And then part two of that is a medical power of attorney, where if you're not dying, but maybe you have dementia and the doctor says you need a heart procedure and you can't consent to it because you have dementia. Someone you love and trust can step in and say, I do or don't want my wife to have that or my mother to have that. But it also needs to have a HIPAA release in it, because HIPAA is a medical privacy law, and we saw a lot of people during COVID where they would call, we weren't allowed in the facilities, and they'd call them there to check on their mom or dad, and they wouldn't tell them anything because they didn't have a HIPAA release. So
yes.
It's extremely important.
And I'm sure you get a lot of people say, because I know we do, they'll say, well, I have power of attorney, and they don't realize that if that's all you have, how important that will is, because power of attorney ends when that person passes away. It's not.
I didn't know that.
Power of attorney has nothing to do with after death.
Yeah, so the third one is a will, as Ellen says. So that's what we call the three-legged stool. So the financial power of attorney, the health care directive, and a will, because as Ellen says, when someone passes away, their power of attorney is no longer valid. You can't use it to do anything. So a lot of times we have children who've been accessing mom or dad's accounts for years with the power of attorney. Well, then they pass away and they go down to the bank and they say, you can't get in this account again, and now we've got to go through a long probate process to access the money.
And so you're having the stress of, the sadness of losing your loved one, and then on top of that you have the stress of, what am I going to do? This is how I was going to pay for this, but now, oh my goodness, you need that peace of mind during that, because a loss is a really hard thing to experience. And so if you have that comfort of knowing you have all the bases covered, if you will,
it's a lot better.
It is.
I can tell you, the ones that come in my office that have a plan and mom and dad did this, this, and this and did it the right way, versus the ones that come in and have nothing, it's just night and day, the difference. Because as you say, they're grieving over mom and dad's medical problem, which is what they should be doing, and instead they're also having to go to a lawyer's office, and sometimes one's in my office and another sibling's in another lawyer's office, and they're fussing over what to do.
And I've been on both ends of the spectrum, you know that, because I've come to you for advice. That's
good.
But seriously, my mom had everything, and I'm not embarrassed to say that's why I think that's why I refer so many people to Bill, because he does know his stuff, and and it's very important, the things that he's saying. Everybody needs to listen to what he's saying. So, because my mom had everything, I didn't have to do anything but grieve when she passed away.
That's what you should be able
And then
to.
when my father passed away, it was totally opposite. It was awful.
He wasn't prepared.
No.
He didn't have
and he said he was, and there wasn't any papers. He was remarried, and it was just this big mess, and it just, and I'm not embarrassed, because I use my example a lot to people. I'm like, you don't want to be on that end of the spectrum. You want to be to where you have nothing to do but grieve.
I've seen families be torn apart because of that. Like you said, there might be one sibling in your office and another in another office, and that happens. I've seen that experience, and that's terrible, because you want families to stay together, and family, you don't want to fight within family. There's really nothing worse. It's bad.
It is, and it could easily be solved by just putting wishes in writing. Because what causes the family fights is sister heard mom say, well, she would want to be on a feeding tube, and brother heard mom say, well, she would, and they're fighting because they're both doing what they think mom wanted them to do. If mom had just told them, put it in writing, then we don't have a dispute.
And sometimes they'll change their mind at the end. I know, I've had an experience where something was given to me, but it was left in the will to someone else before the person passed. And it's like, well, she gave it to me. I have it in my possession, but yet it's willed to someone else. And they might forget who, and so if you have that, well, okay, this was their wish.
Yes.
So,
right.
Yeah. Wow, well, we have many more things to cover, but it's time that we go take another short break. So stay tuned. There is more information right here on Rise and Shine. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Campers Unlimited, we offer a no-pressure experience, no hidden fees, and great service after the sale, making us one of the fastest-growing RV dealers in the Southeast. With our second location in Oxford, we offer a great selection of over 220 campers from top brands, including Grand Design. Our mission is to help friends and family spend time together in the great outdoors. At Campers Unlimited, you aren't just a customer, you are family. Check out our inventory at campersunlimited.net or come see us at Gaston or Oxford.
Hello, I'm Taylor Sloan with the City of Oxford, with a word about one of our city's most precious resources, water. Clean water enriches our lives in so many ways, but we cannot afford to take it for granted. Remember, every time you pour something unnatural down the drain or in the environment, and every time you litter, our beautiful lakes and creeks suffer. Our city is beautiful. Let's all join together to keep it that way. Stop pollution where it starts, and help protect our waters for life.
What can you buy for $10? A hat? A milkshake? 166 channels plus live sports? That's right, for only $10 you can get 166 channels of classic TV shows and movies, including the latest news update from all around the world and local sports. Just simply go to 24ctn.com and click download, and then for only $10 you can have access to the best TV available.
Looking for unbeatable deals? Look no further than Shop 24, your go-to spot for incredible discounts and savings. From local dining and entertainment to grocery stores and everything you need, we've got deals you won't find anywhere else. But hurry, these hot deals are limited and going fast. Grab your phone and call now. Don't let these savings slip away. Join me, Kip Chapel, on Shop 24 every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Tune in to save big with Shop 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
I'm Lacey Klontz with your TV24 News Update. Don't miss out on Second Friday on Main in historic downtown Oxford this evening from 4 to 8 p.m. at the beautiful Simmons Park, located at 400 Main Street. Per Main Street Oxford's Facebook page, there's going to be delicious food trucks, unique local art vendors, great downtown shopping, dining, and kids' activities that include a bounce house, lawn games, and sidewalk chalk. There will be live music by Barrett Haynes in the Gazebo, the Chakalaka Cruise In, which is hosted by Hartwell Masonic Lodge number 101, and there will also be free caricature drawings by Lash LaRue from 5:30 to 7:30. Second Friday on Main will be an amazing event that will be fun for the whole family. The Anniston Museum and Garden are hosting a 2-night escape room event next month. Per their website, during a tour of Farley and Jermaine Berman's home and artifact collection, you got a little too sneaky. You've snuck into Mr. Berman's office, set off a booby trap, and the door has locked behind you. Luckily for you, the Bermans have hidden a spare key somewhere in the room. Unluckily for you, they were world-class spies. Embark on a thrilling adventure, solve puzzles, crack ciphers, and uncover surprises to find the key and make your daring escape before you're discovered and labeled a thief. Each session is $60 per group of 2 to 6 participants, ages 10 and older. Children ages 10 to 16 must be accompanied by a participating adult. AM&G members receive a $5 group discount. Pre-registration is required. Admission to the Berman Museum exhibit galleries is not included. The date and times are Friday, September 13th at 5 and 6:30 p.m. Then on Saturday, the 14th, you can choose from 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 2:30 p.m., and 4 p.m. You may purchase tickets at the Anniston Museums and Gardens website. For WEAC TV 24, I'm Lacey Klontz.
Thanks for staying with us right here on Rise and Shine on your Friday morning. August the 9th is 8 o'clock. So we're excited to continue our conversation with Bill Miller on the importance of planning for the future. Ellen Hurst with Alabama Cares, who also provides invaluable insights on the services they offer to family and caregivers. So thank you both for being here this morning. And Ellen, you know, she gets to be here every Friday.
Yes.
And always brings guests that she trusts and that she knows are knowledgeable and that can provide some really incredible information to our viewers. So thank you for bringing Bill in.
Yeah, I thought he would be a good one.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot. One of the things that you mentioned that I have to admit that I had no clue was the power of attorney. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Like with the power of attorney, are all power of attorneys the same?
No, they're not, and that's probably so. The financial power of attorney is probably the most important document to have because it's designed to take care of you and make sure that someone you love and trust can access your assets to take care of you. But they're not all created the same. Because powers of attorney have to have the power spelled out in the document, and there's a lot. Most powers of attorney don't have the authority to do like asset protection planning, set up trusts, do what we call qualified income trusts if somebody's going to the nursing home. So a lot of times people will come in and they'll say, you know, my mom's got $400,000 in assets and she wants to protect some of them, and so I look at the power of attorney and, you know, mom's already got dementia so she can't sign a new one, and I have to turn them away, but we can't do any of the asset protection strategies because the power of attorney doesn't authorize it. So there are some powers that are in powers of attorney that are kind of in all of them, like to sell property and access IRAs, but there's a lot of long-term care planning powers that are not in most powers of attorney.
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot of people, and I'm sure you could write another book about this, but I know that we get this a lot, that people think, oh, well, they don't go and ask these questions to anyone, and so they just assume, and then they'll say, oh, but when it gets to that point, I'll just put mom or dad in long-term care. Well, long-term care is not paid by Medicare, Medicaid, unless you have a long-term care policy in place or you have money set aside for that. That's not covered.
Maybe you mentioned people don't ask questions. Maybe they don't know the questions to ask, and that's why this literature that you provide is so important. So, because not everybody will know how to be prepared, and you can't talk to everyone, but you have a book out. Is it one book or multiple books?
Multiple books. I have one on, I don't know which one's going to come up next, but we have one called Caring for Aging Parents. And then I co-wrote a book called You're Not Alone Living with Dementia with another attorney named Julie Steinbacher. That's the newest one we wrote. So that's a pretty helpful little, it's not very long, about 80 pages maybe, but it's really helpful for someone who has a parent or a loved one who's recently got a dementia diagnosis, because it tells them a lot of the things they need to be thinking about, and I think helps them relate. Yeah, that's a dementia caregiver pocket guide for folks who are living, so that's kind of a smaller, shorter book as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I think they're helpful, because again, people really don't understand the journey. They just go day by day, and suddenly, 4 or 5 months have built up, and while mom or dad may not change from day to day, from 1 month to 4 months later, it's usually drastically different. And people just aren't equipped to deal with dementia patients. Yeah. They repeat themselves a lot because they don't realize what they've already said, and people get frustrated, and a lot of these caregivers are children, they're working all day, and
when you don't understand something, you get frustrated. That's
exactly
with anything,
right.
And these poor families, I mean, wow,
So take out some of that frustration, and you can live day by day if you are already prepared. If you take that hard step, yes, it might be, a lot at once that you have to do, maybe to get prepared, and go ahead and think about it, and then you can start with just living day by day and caring for your loved ones.
And it's amazing too, like how people, and anyone that's out there listening to this today, I mean, don't ever be embarrassed about asking questions, no matter who you are. I mean, I think I've told you before, I had a MD, a doctor, come to me and ask me, I need to know why my mom's doing all this. Well, you're a medical doctor, I mean, I don't know. I was a little intimidated, but he was, he said, well, I'm a heart doctor. I can tell you all day long about the heart, what you should do, I have no clue about this. You need to tell me why, what do we need to do,
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And so if a doctor is coming to ask questions, no one should feel embarrassed. There's no dumb questions, at all, because you need to know. You need to empower yourself to be prepared. I think we all do. And even if you don't have dementia, you might need to give Bill a call, because my husband and I need to give him a call too.
I was just thinking that too.
You need to prepare, and I'm just going to go ahead and give you a plug. You just need to go ahead and tell them, like, you have this special kind of thing where you do the estate planning, don't you? Where you pay one price, and then if you can.
Yeah, so that's
that thing. Yeah.
Ooh, special.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm giving you a plug here.
There we go.
But
Tell
it's
us
really
about
cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, so a lot of the problem with estate planning is that lawyers just do it. Family comes in, you do it one time, and that's it. There's never any updates to it. So we have what we call a client maintenance program. That's it's optional, but it helps keep their plan current. So after they put their plan in place, when they get it in place, then from year to year we can keep it up to date. We recommend updating powers of attorney and advance directives at least every 2 or 3 years. The family can call on unlimited phone calls and things like that. So they always have somebody they can call and ask questions. And as Ellen says, there's no stupid question. We get people all the time who say, this probably is a dumb question, but it's not. They're there to learn. And the reason we do the workshops and we have a lot of YouTube videos and the books and stuff, it's just easier for people to make a decision about what to do if they are educated about it, rather than, like you go to the doctor, whatever he or she tells you is the problem, you just do whatever they say. You don't know, you probably haven't done any research about, and people just are, like I said, sometimes can be intimidated to go see lawyers. So if they're educated and they understand all these things up front, then it makes it a lot easier for them to decide what's best for their family.
And they can already kind of bring in like a rough draft of what they're hoping to. They can name all of, when they get to you, to be prepared of naming all the people they would like to make sure to put in the will, and who all is going to be responsible for what. And also with updating it, things change. People pass.
That's what I was about to say. And
there's unexpected.
People buy land, people sell land, there's all different kinds of dynamics that go into that.
Yeah, where you are right now might not be where you are in 2 years, and dynamics can change.
Oh, they do all the time. And, you should have, if you have young children, your plan should have provisions in there if something happens to you and your spouse, who's going to take care of them, who's going to manage their money. Because you can't leave people under the age of 19 in Alabama, you can't leave them in inheritance. Somebody's got to go to court and get a conservatorship over that. So we put like underage trusts in our documents to take care of that. So there's just a lot. It's a journey. It's not a one-time event. And as your circumstances in life change, then your plan should be flexible enough to change with it.
Yeah, we don't ever want to think about those cases, of course, like a car accident or something. But you also really don't want to leave your family in a way that they are not prepared. Because if something does happen,
And I know from being in that one position before, that's why I tell my husband, I've been getting on to him about going to see him, but I would never want to put my husband through that. That is the most horrific feeling in the world, going through that. I mean, it's horrible, because your hands are tied, and a lawyer can't, he can't
untie him.
Wiggle his nose and, everything, make it okay. I mean,
you can't woulda, coulda, shoulda your way through it. You have to do it.
There's just a lot of sad. I mean, I can tell you story after story, but I had a lady come in about 2 years ago. Her husband was a veteran. He had Alzheimer's. They had a farm down in Munford. They raised their daughters. Their daughters had moved on, or lived in other states. And so she was just there because it was a 4-acre place, and she's trying to take care of him, take care of the house, and take care of all that property. So they just wanted to downsize, and so when they went to sell it, the realtor said, his name's on the deed, like most spouses' names are on the deed, and he's got to sign the deed in order to sell it. And so she came in there to get a power of attorney to do so, and I said, well, unfortunately he's got Alzheimer's. You're not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to sign a power of attorney. You're going to have to go to court and get a conservatorship. And conservatorship hearings are not fun. You have to sit there and testify about your spouse you've been married to all these years, about why he's no longer able to do this and he's not able to do that. So she had to go through all of that just to be able to sell their property because there was no power of attorney in place.
And that's cost money too. I'm sure that's not an inexpensive venture.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Wow. It's a lot less expensive to go ahead and be prepared up front than to try to face these things.
And it sounds like a lot at front, at first, but in the long scheme of things, it's not, because once, like Bill said, once you get to that point, you're going to have to spend all this extra money, all these extra costs.
Yeah, it's best just to be prepared.
Yes.
I think that
Really
is,
should have a
yes.
plan.
If anybody has a takeaway, it's to have a plan,
Have
be
a plan.
prepared.
Yes.
That is so incredibly important. I can't believe it, but it's already time that we have to go take another break. We do love our sponsors, so we want to make sure we show them lots of love. But stay tuned. There's more conversation with Bill Miller and Ellen Hurst. So we'll be right back. You're watching Rise and Shine right here on WEAC TV 24.
Some say college isn't for single parents or people who work full-time. I'm here to prove them wrong. I'm a first-generation American, the father of Dion, and a non-traditional student at Gadsden State Community College. As a sergeant in the Army National Guard, I've watched soldiers with degrees progress faster in their careers. So today, I'm in school, involved in the Veterans Upward Bound program, and excited to see what's in store for my career. I truly am earning my wings at Gadsden State.
Come out and check out the Alabama Tractor difference. We can take care of all your needs of parts, sales, and service for RTVs, zero-turns, and tractors and construction equipment. See us here in Lincoln at 620 Speedway Industrial Drive. Or come visit us here in Asheville at 275 6th Avenue, or give us a call at 205-594-7000.
Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery in Oxford is the area's leading auto body shop serving Anniston, Oxford, Talladega, and surrounding areas since 1996. They specialize in auto body repair and refinishing, paint correction, paintless dent repair, towing, and so much more. For all of your auto body needs, contact Hughes Paint and Body Works Towing and Recovery at 256-835-1170. Also online at HughesPaintandBody.com.
I'm Alan Parnell, the Parnell Insurance Agency. We've been here in Oxford and Alabama, Tallapoosa, Georgia since 1990. With Auto Owners Insurance, we're able to give customers competitive pricing along with excellent coverages. Parnell Insurance can handle all of your personal, commercial, and life insurance needs. We have a very experienced staff, both personal and commercial. All together, we've got about 125 years experience. Come see what our insurance agency can do for you in Oxford, Alabama, and Tallapoosa, Georgia.
Auto Owners Insurance.
At Bentley Prosthetic and Medical Supply, we care about you. We offer custom prosthetics, orthotics, diabetic shoes, and durable medical supplies. We're located here in Alexandria, Alabama, where it's a country feel but professional care. Come see us today.
I'm Lacey Klontz with your TV24 News Update. Don't miss out on Second Friday on Main in historic downtown Oxford this evening from 4 to 8 p.m. at the beautiful Simmons Park, located at 400 Main Street. Per Main Street Oxford's Facebook page, there's going to be delicious food trucks, unique local art vendors, great downtown shopping, dining, and kids' activities that include a bounce house, lawn games, and sidewalk chalk. There will be live music by Barrett Haynes and the Gazebo, the Chakalaka Cruise In, which is hosted by Hartwell Masonic Lodge number 101, and there will also be free caricature drawings by Lash LaRue from 5:30 to 7:30. Second Friday on Main will be an amazing event that will be fun for the whole family. The Anniston Museum and Garden are hosting a 2-night escape room event next month. Per their website, during a tour of Farley and Jermaine Berman's home and artifact collection, you got a little too sneaky. You've snuck into Mr. Berman's office, set off a booby trap, and the door has locked behind you. Luckily for you, the Bermans have hidden a spare key somewhere in the room. Unluckily for you, they were world-class spies. Embark on a thrilling adventure, solve puzzles, crack ciphers, and uncover surprises to find the key and make your daring escape before you're discovered and labeled a thief. Each session is $60 per group of 2 to 6 participants, ages 10 and older. Children ages 10 to 16 must be accompanied by a participating adult. AM&G members receive a $5 group discount. Pre-registration is required. Admission to the Berman Museum exhibit galleries is not included. The date and times are Friday, September 13th at 5 and 6:30 p.m. Then on Saturday, the 14th, you can choose from 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 2:30 p.m., and 4 p.m. You may purchase tickets at the Anniston Museums and Gardens website. For WEAC TV 24, I'm Lacey Klontz.
Rise and shine and welcome back. It's 8:17 on your Thursday morning, August the 9th. So we've been visiting with Bill Miller and Ellen Hurst, and we've been talking about the importance of estate planning and wills and elder law, all of the things with
all intertwined,
all of how they intertwine. And when we were on a break, y'all were talking about some and I said, hold on, save it. Our viewers want to hear this. But it's really important, as you were talking about caregivers, like the toll that caregiving. I mean, we want to give that love and that care and that compassion to our loved ones, but the toll that it can take on caregivers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because people are, a lot of times it's a child who's providing the care. It seems like in families, as we talked about earlier, it's usually one child. Even if there's more than one, it's the one child that's doing it all. Yep. But it's hard to, caregiving is difficult, especially with a dementia patient as they get further along. And a lot of times we see the caregivers passing away before the patient, the dementia patient, because they've worn themselves out trying to provide care. But it's hard because people are reluctant to put their mom or dad in a facility because mom or dad raised them, they took care of them when they were little, and so they feel obligated, or maybe they promised their mom and dad, I would never put you in a facility.
Or nobody can take care of my mama like I can take care of my mama. And but there's people that get paid to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and they're trained to do so.
And they go home, they work shifts and they go home for a day or two, or for at least 12 hours a day. They're around the clock. So. But it's hard to get to the point. I mean, I've had people come in and they want to try to do the planning and stuff like this, and or do whatever they can. But until they reach the point where they're willing to put mom or dad in the facility, then there's really not a lot. I'm talking about now like asset protection and all that. Mom or dad's too far along to do the signed documents. But you got to get to the point where you just accept the fact that you're not letting them down by getting them the care that they need. These places, these long-term care facilities and assisted living facilities provide a great service, and they have people trained to provide care. And sometimes people get to the point where they're trying to do it at home, and they're really doing their parents a disservice.
And they're doing themselves a disservice. And that's one of the things that we tell our clients all the time. You're not Superwoman and you're not Superman, and it comes to the point where you have to think about safety, too. And it's okay for you to have a life, and they don't realize, especially if that person is wandering, or and if they're sundowning or something, and you're up all the time. How about if you doze off and they get in the cabinet and you didn't lock up the knives and they cut themselves? Or there's like all different kinds of things. We had
turn on the stove.
Right, and I had one client. This was years ago, and it always sticks out in my mind. I'll never forget this. This is a lady who her husband left her when she took care of her mom, when her mom moved in with her because she had dementia. Her husband left her. She had 2 young children at home who played sports. She was constantly back and forth with her kids, and then her mom was real bad about wandering, and she would go out in the road, and so in her mind she was protecting her mom, but she bound her mom to the bed while she left to take the children to the games or to practice or to whatever. And in her mind, she was protecting her mom from, at least she wasn't in the traffic, right? Yeah. But she didn't realize that was a safety issue, and that was, and she didn't mean to, she in her mind she wasn't being abusive. She was protecting her mother, but we're mandatory reporters, and when we had to report, and DHR went in and they said, we need to place her in and then when she got placed in a full care facility, she later came to us and said, I didn't realize that what all I was doing until, I got all this free time on my hands now, and now I realize you were right.
She was too busy to even really think about it.
And I think that Bill does the same thing that we do. We try to empower that caregiver to make the right decisions. To let them know you're not being a bad daughter, you're not being a bad son by making that decision and putting them in a full care facility. You're not.
Yeah, they're equipped to handle it.
Yeah, and we actually encourage families as part of our planning to go visit some of these facilities, because a lot of people have this idea that nursing homes are like they were back in the 40s or 50s, and they're not all that way. And there's other things short of a nursing home. There's some great assisted living facilities around that have memory care units.
Yes.
Memory care.
And a lot of these people, when they're at home and by themselves, and they don't have any interaction other than with the caregiver when they come over, when they go to these assisted living facilities, a lot of them blossom because now they have people that they can talk to. They have activities. I mean,
Bingo night.
Yes. and I tell caregivers this too, because I experienced this, and I mean, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, you know, even if somebody that has dementia, you know, you can go to work all day as a caregiver and come home. Well, that person that you're taking care of has all day to think about what's bothering them. You know, they just want to vent, whatever it is, or frustration, whatever. So who's going to catch it right when you walk in the door? You are, because you're the caregiver. You're the only person that they see. So that takes a toll on someone's psyche. You know, I mean, it takes a toll on your mental health as a caregiver.
Because, you know, you're sacrificing and giving up this time to do the care, and all you're getting is insulted because they're so
and you
frustrated.
can't take it personal. You know, that's what I try to tell caregivers. It's nothing personal. You know, one is because you're the person that's there. You're the one that's going to get it. But a lot of times too, it's, you know, it's the disease. It's not. It's nothing personal.
Well, and they don't need to be sitting there by themselves, you know, because of course the safety, but also what is there to do? Watch too much TV, and then I'm sure that can get confusing too, and maybe even cause emotional. Well, this happened today, something that they saw on TV, and they might.
And that's happened before. Yes. Yes.
And they're equipped to take, like you said, in those extended cares and in those senior living, they're equipped to do that. I mean, they've gone through school, even like moving someone. I had a guest on yesterday, Dr. Lightsey with Gadsden State, and one of the things that we talked about, they have these mannequins, and the students can practice moving someone. So like, let's say like you're smaller than the person you're giving care to, and you're trying to move them like you need to, you could hurt yourself. If you're not trained on how to properly, you know, protect yourself, you could really do a lot of damage.
And that's True Alta. True Alta. If you're, you know, that's our free education program at work. You can actually call us, and we can give you a portal, and you can go online, and it teaches you how to move, you know, and how to do personal care to someone that's bedbound, all that kind of thing. And it also talks about, it's got Tipa Snow, who is a great person for dementia and everything. It's got all that information, and we can add Bill's information on that on True Alta on our site for True Alta as well. But we can assign you a portal if you're interested in that. It's 1-800-AGE-LINE, and you can call us and ask for the True Alta program with the CARES program. And
it's been amazing how many people I've been able to share that phone number with since being able to visit with you every Friday. I see things on Facebook all the time. Well, my dad, you know, is older and he needs this. I'm like, call 1-800-AGE-LINE. Call 1-800-AGE-LINE. I have passed along that phone number to so many.
They do a great job. It's a great resource for our community, because people don't know where to go. They don't know where to get information. Like you say, they think Medicare is going to pay for the nursing home, and there's just not a lot of information out there. I think this care community works really well together. I know a lot of them, and they'll refer people to other places if that's better for the family. So we really have a great community of caregivers, and it's just people don't have one place to go, and so this is a great place to start.
And as you said earlier in the show, it takes a village.
It takes a village.
And thankfully we have a great one. So let's make sure everyone knows about that community health series that's upcoming, because that is going to be very important information. You get to meet Ellen and meet Bill, and he will be speaking at the event. So you will gain a lot of really valuable information, and I have to say it's free. So valuable information for free.
And you get to ask Bill questions.
And you get to ask questions. So you don't always get to do that. Thank you, Bill, for volunteering your time to speak with the community. So make sure you don't miss out on that. That's from 10 to 12 on August the 20th at Oxford Civic Center. Free. Again, got to say that, got to stress that. And door prizes. You know, there's always some really
vendors.
Great.
And Bill's really good. I mean, he comes to our conference every November. Hopefully you're coming this November too. But one of the things that I always get good feedback on, and I know I've shared that with you because we always have an evaluation at the end, but one of the good things that we always get a good feedback about is he answers questions at the end of his presentation, and he'll do this at the Community Health Series too. So this is your time to come and find out some information, get some of his books and some of his information and maybe sign up with you to come.
Happy to see him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I know I have a few people on the top of my mind that I'm going to make sure that knows about the Community Health Series, and I'm sure as you are watching, you can think of some people, if not yourself. So make sure that you mark your calendar for that Community Health Series on August 20th. And also, if you have any questions, 1-800-AGE-LINE is a great place to start. And also, Bill, I'd love for you to share your contact information with our viewers as well.
Sure. So our office number is 241-6794, and then my website is, and there it is on the screen. So it's www.millerestateandelderlaw.com. I know that's kind of lengthy, but we have a lot of resources on the website. All of our books are on there under the resources tab, but we have a lot of YouTube videos to help explain these concepts sort of in bite-sized chunks. And if you want to come to one of our workshops, you are welcome to register. The next one here in Oxford is August 29th at 2. The next one I'm doing is in Trussville on August 22nd, but the closest one here in Oxford is August 29th.
Or the Community Health Series, August 20th.
Well, I guess that's the next
So
one.
you have, you have a busy schedule in
I have a busy
August.
schedule,
Yeah,
huh?
August 20th, and it's and WEAC TV24 does they film it for a 30-minute show. So if you don't come, you won't get to see all of it.
And you don't get to ask questions.
Yeah, and you don't get to ask questions.
Yeah,
either,
and how often do you get that opportunity to just go and ask questions for free?
Free.
So make sure you mark your calendar. Well, Bill, thank you so much for all of your valuable information and being here this morning.
Well, thank you. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And all of the work that you do in the community. And Ellen, of course, as always, it's great to spend my Friday morning with you.
Aww.
And thanks to all that you do. So I look forward to visiting with you again. I'll see you at the Community Health Series. I'll be in attendance. I want to hear this great information. So is there anything else we want to share with our viewers before it's time to say goodbye?
Just make sure that you inquire about all this information that Bill gave today.
And put a plan in place. It doesn't have to be with me. Just whoever you make sure that you get a plan in place. It just makes it so much easier on your family when something happens.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, on that, thank you so much. We're going to wish you a wonderful rest of your Friday and a happy weekend. And we will see you back here Monday morning. We've got our friends with Bama Bucks that's going to be in the studio. And we've got some cool little furry friends that he's going to be bringing with. There's rumors there's going to be a kangaroo in the studio. I know some of you are so excited. So that's Monday morning. So we'll see you back there. Thanks again for tuning in to Rise and Shine on WEAC TV24.
Hello everyone, welcome to Let's Talk About It. My name is Marquita Mansfield and I am so excited about today's